Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are, and welcome to another NerdTube Star Trek episode review. We're here talking about Prodigy Season 2, Episodes 17 and 18, Brink and Touch of Grey. Got a lot to talk about this evening. We'll jump into some overall impressions after I introduce my co-hosts. To my immediate right, we have Cousin Cheeto. How are you, sir?
Howdy, howdy. Excited to be here. Excited to talk about Prodigy. We're in the final stretch.
Indeed. This almost feels like kind of the penultimate episode going into the finale episodes next week. Zam, how are you, sir?
Fine, thank you. And I'd also like to agree with you because everything feels like a double bill now. So yes, it does feel like the penultimate double bill until this season ends.
And below me, last but not least, is Lord Donkey. He's back with us this week. How are you, sir?
I'm well. It was nice to see someone finally tell Wes to call his mother.
Right? Right? He better listen to Janeway, too.
Mm-hmm. Maybe if we're lucky, somebody will tell him to shut up at some point.
That would be great.
I'm pretty sure Janeway wanted to a couple times.
Yeah, I'm sure she will. Definitely.
No, so, yeah, like Sam said, it feels like a double billing again. It feels like one big episode, or like a two-parter almost. But overall, I enjoyed it. What were your overall impressions, Cheeto?
These were two really good episodes. I mean, they definitely felt like they had their own stories going on between the two episodes, but I mean, yeah, we're as I said, this really feels like we're in the final stretch, the final 4 episodes. I mean, the last 2 episodes are a 1 and 2 parter, so yeah, this is pretty much the penultimate episodes, as we were saying earlier. So, some really good action. I really enjoyed how they played with time a little bit, where Wesley, well, obviously spoilers. Wesley, Wesley planned for a lot of this to happen all along anyway. When we thought, he was in trouble, he's really not. He's like, no, this is exactly how I planned it out. And then they screwed it up, of course, which I think will still benefit them in the long run. As I said, I mean, they're, doing that. So, and yeah, I mean, like Dal, tolerable, very tolerable in these episodes. I was actually really impressed. I'm still cautiously waiting for them to walk it back somewhere. But like, if they keep this up, Dal's a redeeming character of at least the end of this season. Like the beginning half, he was pretty much still insufferable, but the back half, he's been improving. So as long as they don't walk it back in the last 2 episodes, I'm on Team Dal. Like I'm like, okay, well, Dal's becoming a good character now. Finally.
Yeah, minimal second guessing of Gwen these episodes when she was in charge. No, I told you so's or anything. When Wesley did tell them that she did make the wrong decision, but you can't get them all right. But yeah, definitely here's hoping they don't crawl back on that Dal character development, because I'm enjoying the newer, more mature version of him.
I don't mind him. I don't mind him being a little bit suave and a little bit of a joker and all of that, but when it comes to having to do his work, he puts his working hat on. He doesn't go in there with the same sort of mentality. Like it's a change, and that's what we need. But you see that with a lot of Star Trek characters. Someone like Riker, for instance, he knows how to. He has got an alternative side to him away from the commander's chair, and that's what you want to see from somebody like Dal.
Yeah, but Dal's the thing that irks me is that Dal's always doing it at the wrong times. Like you can have your off-duty personality, and that's fine. Like if they were out on shore leave and having a great time, sure. But like when they're on the bridge, when they're working on an away mission, like that's a time where you just like you shape up, And that's as I said,
exactly.
They're doing a good job. And I mean, I agree with you. Like I wouldn't mind it if it was like a filler shore leave episode and he was acting like this, but just do you mind really quickly? I'll just bring up just a couple of the comments before we keep going. Daniel Vance says Elon Musk posted let's make Starfleet real, to which Robert Picardo responded, first step, support a leader that embodies Starfleet values like diversity, inclusion, and
That's
ethical
our
behavior.
doctor.
That's right, Robert
yeah.
Picardo
Oh,
for the win. Rick B says 0 out of 10. Yeah, it is. It's an eye roll at this point. Daniel Vance says the comic goes really deep into Wes and Beverly's conversation and why Wes hasn't made contact or visited until now. I don't. Which comic are you? Just Star Trek, like a Star Trek comic in general, or was it like? Is there a Prodigy comic? I don't remember if there was one.
And by the way,
Interesting.
what's like the time difference between this and Picard?
I think this is before Picard.
This is-
This
I know
is
that, but like how
Beverly
many
was just like she was on her medical, like on
10
her own
years,
kind of
10
thing.
years.
I don't know if Jack had been born yet.
10 years?
No,
Well,
Jack-
is definitely born.
Jack would have. I think Daniel Vance a couple weeks ago said Jack would have just been born. I
Okay.
want to say it's around 20 years, but I don't have a precise. Like I think it's like
Where's the sacred
2380
timeline?
something.
Well, I just want to know if Wesley finds out that he has a brother or not. You know, that would be interesting and cool if they are intertwining shit. That would be nice. You know that they did that.
Mhm.
That would be a cool moment. And however old Jack may be, you know, I hope he's not too young. I would like him to maybe a kid, maybe about
See
5,
some
6 years old.
So
See some
20. So it's
interaction.
Voyager. Or I'm sorry, Prodigy season 2 mostly takes place between 2384 and 2385, which puts it about 15 to 16 years before Picard, because Picard season 3 takes place in 2402 or 2401, one of those two. So
You said Voyager, not Prodigy.
I initially said Voyager, but then I corrected myself and said Prodigy. But yes, you were
Okay.
right. Prodigy, yes. Prodigy season 2 takes
Sorry,
place
sorry, I didn't do the math. What was the gap between those two?
like 15,
periods?
16 years, maybe 17 if it's 2402.
Yeah, so Jack is definitely born.
Yeah, Jack is
yeah.
definitely he's a little tyke.
Okay.
Although
wonder
he's
if
still
he looks-
probably already developed his British accent, you know, even though he's French.
Yeah.
Raised by an American accent having person.
Well, you know,
Uh,
they did answer that regarding how the Picards they moved to England during the Second World War. It's not like England and France are like fucking miles away, but fair enough, whatever.
Mhm.
And
No,
he had got a
I
chateau.
always like that explanation. I always thought it was funny.
No, but the thing is that he had got a chateau back in France, so wouldn't they like that several generations be French again and have fucking French accents? But fair enough, whatever.
Right. And Lord Donkey, what were your overall impressions of the episode? We don't want to leave you out.
Let's see. No, back to what Cheetah was saying with Dahl. At the beginning, it felt like, oh, he's always like, I want to be captain. I want to be captain. And this last two-parter here, it felt like he was making more of a good first officer, which is a better first step than just saying, I want to be captain. I want to be captain. So
It was like if we could use an example, like the first Avengers movie where Tony Stark was not the leader, it was Captain America, and he told Captain America to take the shots, you know, call out the plays and stuff like that. And it was the same with Dahl. He's like playing Tony Stark, and he's telling Gwen, who's Captain America, Steve Rogers, what's the fucking play, and that's the sort of vibe I was getting. And he knows his role. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the time where they had to work together to get the Protostar off that planet made him grow quite a bit and mature. So good to see that paying off. But my God, the choice that Gwen had to make there, this is a kid's show, right?
I would argue it's not. Like I would
Not
argue that
anymore.
it's
That's
kinda
right.
grown
I
past
said
it.
a couple of times ago, it's a show about kids or cadets. This is not a kids show.
Family
anymore.
show.
It's a family-friendly. Oh, you screwed up, but that's okay. We're not gonna throw you in the brig, as if it were TNG.
Or, you know, Voyager, where Janeway just starts throwing Paris in the brig He's just like,
or killing Tuvix.
yeah, or killing Tuvix.
Now, I need something to be answered for me regarding this episode. That Essentia character, she was never like, there was never two of her. There was only one of her.
Why were there two of her?
No, there are two of her. There's the one
I
from
didn't
the
understand
present,
that.
which the one from the present is helping Ilthran with the uprising. Then the one from the future who got sent back in time to prevent the Civil War is the villainous.
With the main bad guy of last season. What do they call him? I don't remember.
He was the Diviner.
Diviner, yeah. So there's a future Essentia that came back with the Diviner, and she was the one that was undercover on Janeway's ship during season 1. And then there's Essentia of the current time, which is the one with like the bandana over her head. And she's the one who's like, I will never turn into that monster.
It's just that we never saw her later on, like she somehow just disappeared.
Yeah.
She
did, yeah, I noticed that. She did disappear after they got captured.
So I was thinking to myself, what the fuck's going on there? Was she pretending to be a past version of herself? That's why I was thinking that, but
as well.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe she was, and maybe they just didn't make it clear. I'm trying to go back in my brain and think. I'm like, but they never made a grand reveal. You figure they'd make a grand reveal for that. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I've been the future me the whole time.
I was thinking that too, but maybe they're trying to make it. They're not playing their audience as stupid, and they're just making you suss it out.
They didn't dummy proof it enough for me, apparently.
I'm hoping we with the last 2 episodes, we find out in some capacity, if any, but I just was wondering where the hell she was. That's all.
Well, that's a convenient absence.
Yeah.
And
last thing I had was, how about the weekend at Bernie's moment there?
I was going to call. Brilliant. Oh my god, you stole my thunder. That's so weekend at Bernie's moment. It was so brilliant. Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah, that was a brilliant moment. What I found funny though is that they used the phaser that we accidentally shot a hole in the glass, and they tried to put Murph in there. And I'm thinking to myself, why don't you just shoot a few more fucking holes in that glass, and then maybe Murph could fit in properly.
Yeah, they got to show off Murph's malleability.
Yeah, we didn't seem that.
He's head of security, remember?
Yeah, so that was just whatever. I just thought it was funny as well. And rok-tauk's able just to punch a hole in the prison cell to make the escape.
Conveniently hollow.
Yeah. Oh god. But the moment when they were in that prison cell, the longer they were taking in there, I thought, okay, any minute now they're all gonna get locked in, because they're just too long. They're too long in this prison cell. And
they're having too long of a things are going well streak. Let's turn that off now.
Yeah, exactly.
Just really quick before we jump into the next ones, Daniel Vance has he says, you have to remember the wormhole properties. This season is all about the future affecting the past. Future Essentia is basically erasing herself by affecting her past self. I mean, maybe.
Well, I like the way
which one's the past one again?
The good
past one's the one with the bandana. Like she was the bandana one. They
rebel.
tried to make them look very different.
We have rebel scum in this episode.
We do.
Yeah.
The only other part I wanted to bring up was who all figured out that Janeway was actually the Doctor? Like
I thought it was Hollow Janeway. I thought Hollow Janeway came down with them or something.
No, I figured it was the Doctor. As soon as I did, because they both left. Janeway and the Doctor left, and then you didn't see the Doctor. I'm like, oh yeah, that's the Doctor.
The moment she got shot, immediately the Doctor. Immediately.
Yeah.
Because the Doctor could be like elsewhere. You talk about malleable. Like he's also like that too. I mean, the guy's got no stamina issues either. He's able to climb that mountain while everyone else is.
Yeah. Okay. Everyone's showing their age.
I feel so invigorated, Wes. I'm not used to using my legs.
Yeah, exactly. And by the way, the Doctor and Hollow Janeway, they were there was something going on there.
I loved that moment. I thought that was great. He's got him a fangirl. That's the last thing the Doctor's ego needs is to grow some more.
Oh no,
Yeah.
he's gonna fall in love with her like that. I mean, if one thing we found about the Doctor is that if any woman shows him any kind of like admiration or attention, he just like falls in love with them. Like
You can have a hollow
So-
family again. Yeah.
So, like most Star Trek fans,
yeah.
Not this one.
no, the what Cheeto said, not the Hollow family.
oh, bow,
Oh.
chicka, wow, wow.
Bad joke.
It's called Hollow Hub.
They had a whole episode about that on the Orville.
They did.
Episode 18 is called "A Touch of Grey." Someone is Grateful Dead fan. Okay.
It made me think of the song title for sure.
I've still yet to see or read this, is it 50 Shades of Grey? I don't want to go on a tangent. Anyway.
Don't punish yourself like that.
Fair enough.
Just- Don't, if you haven't seen it, keep it that way.
Fair enough.
So, do you guys want to talk about anything else in particular in Brink, or do we want to move on to talking more about Touch of Grey?
Let's
I
go
thought
through
we
your.
were jumping between the two by the sound.
Yeah, let's just.
I think
yeah,
it was
let's
kind of
jump
all
between
still
the two.
overall thoughts and like favorite moments and stuff like that. So let's I mean, whatever notes you got made, let's run through that, and then we can talk more details on that if we want.
So the split the party moment was one of the pivotal scenes in my mind. I felt like, there just a little bit of questioning out of Dahl, but I feel like that's not a rollback on the development. I feel like that's like an organic step in his development.
Well, and I don't remember if Zam or Donkey said it, but I mean, like it felt like they were like one of them was saying about him being more of a first officer, because the first officer questions the
I think he
captain when
needs
he's
that
making a
to happen
questionable
first.
decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I mean
Right.
that kind of solidifies that first officer vibe that I think it was you, Donkey, right? That said it.
Mhm.
I want to give credit where credit's due,
Thank you.
But yeah,
I'm
like
gonna write that
I
down.
get that. Like when you said that, I was like, that makes a lot of sense. Like more of a first officer.
Right. Because he needs that first step before he can. He thinks from the first season, oh, I was captain of the Protostar. Like, you were making it up as you went every moment. So don't act like you're a captain. So he needed to be humbled.
I like also Wesley Crusher being reminded that I know you're this time traveler guy now, but you were a Starfleet officer.
Mhm.
And even I had to be fucking reminded that you're a fucking Starfleet officer because
It's like, oh yeah,
and apparently a
How about
damn good
Wesley?
one a damn good one at that, and that was a good moment because I'm glad he had to return back to who he once was and how we all remembered him on TNG. So that was good.
Well, and I think that this is indicative of like these crossover moments, like 7 of 9 on Picard. I think these are the great scenes that now we get from like TNG to then Voyager with Wesley crossing over onto Prodigy, because you get the Crusher and Janeway crossover. Like, and just like with 7 of 9 and Picard with the board connection, like you've got these character moments that are new and fresh with familiar characters. And that's what really makes it comforting, where it's like we have these familiar moments, but we're just like, but it's not just like TNG season, or I'm sorry, Picard season 3, where it's like, oh, all these guys are back together and they all know each other. No, like I love the 7 of 9 stuff in season 1, 2, and 3 of Picard, because especially the interactions between Picard and 7 talking about the Borg. It wasn't as much as I thought it should be, but those were good moments in my opinion.
No, it's definitely.
Sorry, there was a DS9 moment as well, wasn't there? I swear.
I mean, with the changelings.
No,
maybe
no.
Worf.
I swear. Janeway was talking about Bajor at one point. No, am I?
It might have just been a reference. Maybe you might be right. I honestly don't remember a specific, but maybe I missed it.
And okay, fair enough. I was thinking to myself, was that the case or was I dreaming that? I can't remember. I can't fucking remember.
It's
But
me.
anyway.
I creep in your window at night and whisper DS9 lullabies in your ear while you're sleeping.
Okay.
Trying to make DS9 your favorite Star
I was
Trek.
the only one.
No, I normally come after you. Sorry.
Alamarain all the way.
Alamarain.
See, I never knew what they were saying. I thought they were saying lemon meringue.
Lemon meringue. They might as well have been. Okay. Sorry.
Okay, but no, that good pointing out. It's definitely a first officer type of thing to question the captain. But we all know that any D&D type person will know you never split the party. It's rule number 1. You never split the party. Doctor Who fans know you don't split the party.
Right.
Gwen's never watched The Doctor or played D&D.
I know, but Final Fantasy fans know sometimes you got to split the party. You know what I mean? Like Final Fantasy 9. You know, Final Fantasy 4. A lot of them are split throughout the game.
Something really was bugging me because apparently, like our Prodigy crew, they're not Starfleet anymore because Majel quit Starfleet to be with them. I was like, what the fuck's going on?
They've gone rogue.
Like,
yeah, they're never officially in the academy, so I guess that's how they're handling the being able to.
But Majel was an academy AS student,
and she resigned.
Yeah, she had to resign.
Yeah, so okay, this is weird. But during the academy, we saw them at the beginning of the first episode of this season. They were doing academy shit, you know. Like
this is going to be like Star Trek Insurrection, where it's like everybody resigns to go down to the Baku planet, but then like everybody's back in action by the end of the movie. You know, like resignations don't even really work in Star Trek.
But they're still taking orders from Janeway. Like they still have a plan. They're still doing a mission. Like what the fuck's going on? Like are they in Starfleet or not? Like
they typed up their resignation email. They sent it. But then they recalled it once they were done with their special mission.
I think it's more of a precaution because they said that they would have to, if they're caught, they'd have to be disavowed. So I mean,
Janeway did say that.
Yeah. So I think her resigning was just a formality, just because if she's going to go on the mission, there has to be record of her resignation. But as I said, the resignations don't work in Starfleet. Like they just take them back. Like it's like. Or you give the employee a raise and then they'd stay. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start putting my 2 weeks notice in once a year just to get a raise.
Okay. Daniel Vaughn's got a couple of comments. He said sometimes Fred and Daphne just have to examine the bedroom alone. Stuff like that was only brought in later on just to take the piss, especially in Johnny Bravo.
Yes.
When they did
Johnny Bravo, the mystery or the mystery Inc. I love that episode.
One of the greatest crossovers of all time.
It is.
With all those smarts, you think Wes has finally worked out Picard. No, Picard is not his dad. You know, his dad is that guy you saw in the holodeck.
Jack Crusher.
Yeah, that's his dad. You know, Picard's his stepdad.
Picard's his daddy.
Uncle Picard. It's his.
Yeah.
It was his dad. What was his? Was it his dad's best friend? Like, was Picard his dad's best friend, or just really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought so.
Yeah, that's
he's Uncle Picard.
He's Uncle Picard, who's the father of his brother,
half brother. Listen, this is some Jerry Springer
half brother who's named after the dead husband.
Yeah, I know.
It is some Jerry Springer stuff.
There's some Jerry Springer stuff here.
I know. I know it's hard. I just don't like using that term. It just feels a bit weird. But I get it. You know, but still, like. Yeah, but that's my uncle, but he's the dad of my brother. Like, what the fuck? But he's my uncle.
Wait, genetics don't support Jack being Wes's biological. You know, we just when the Highly Logical podcast comes back, we just need to do like our favorite Star Trek fan theories, like Wes being Picard's son, right? You know, we can have people bring it up in the chat and stuff. Like, I've got a couple that I love. I'll bring up. I mean, obviously, First Contact timeline is one of my fan theories that's not confirmed, but it's not disproven either.
I need to know more about that. I haven't looked into that at all.
The what?
The First Contact theory timeline.
We did
that's kind of something
podcast episode on it.
Did we? I need to watch that.
Yeah. It was before you were attending us as a contributor. Anyway,
No,
sorry,
so-
mate. We keep Shanghaiing the whole thing.
No, we're all here together to make content, which is lots of good content at NerdTube. So if you haven't subscribed already, definitely should. Stuff like the Highly
Ka-ching!
Illogical Podcast.
So they build an arena and they managed to somehow contain one of those time squids.
There's some
Yeah.
kind of
Right.
device around its neck. Yeah.
Yeah, they
How did they get
captured
that
the
shit
load.
on it?
Bloom.
I thought
Yeah,
they
How'd they get it on that without getting erased from existence?
I'm sure a lot of them were erased before they got it on.
Yeah,
But
nobody remembers
nobody
how those guys
remembers.
went.
Essentia was channeling her Lord Farquaad. Some of you may die, but that is a price I'm willing to pay.
And that arena, apparently, you can't escape from that arena. There's fucking gaps everywhere, but you can't escape from it. You know what the fuck?
What was
yeah,
their little
it's-
trick with the bomb comm badge or whatever?
Yeah, I don't.
They didn't explain that at all.
She did, like every single Starfleet
Acted
officer
like it
now
was
is
an
walking around
old
with a
trick
bomb
from
on
the
their
show.
chest.
Yeah,
Acted
they've
like
done
it was
that
an old
before.
trick from the Delta Quadrant.
I swear I've seen that trick done before.
Making a comm badge as a bomb? I
Well,
mean,
something like that. You know, some
I
sort
don't-
of little mini detonation. You know, but
I don't
Yeah, there
remember
was
that one, but
probably
maybe.
instructional video on it, like the time travel. Like, well, you shouldn't make a time machine, but if you really need to, you shouldn't turn your comm badge into a bomb.
But if
If
you
you
need
really
to,
Go.
There we go.
Computer, one bomb, please.
yeah, but they tried to
That's how
phaser
it works, right?
But they tried to phaser it, no dent. But somehow an explosion makes a dent, or even a dent, it makes a hole in the fucking wall. Like, I just feel like if you threw some regular human grenades there, it wouldn't do jack shit to it. You
well,
know?
Janeway keeps those in her Tuvix preparedness kit. So
Oh god.
She opens a glove box of her captain's chair. It's like, where's my anti-Tuvix device?
well, no, that's where the hand
It's
grenades are. If Tuvix ever comes back, she's got the hand grenades ready.
Right.
In
they
case of
managed to-
transporter malfunction, break glass.
But they did manage to it freed itself, I think, because it was trying to get Gwen by going for a gap, and it dislodged the thing around its neck, and then how did they end up shooting it off? I can't remember.
No, I think the explosion knocked out power or something. Daniel Vance, though, does say the wall was immune to energy attacks, but was vulnerable to physical. So, okay.
Video
So,
game logic.
magic, it was an anti-magic fiend that you can only take out with physical attacks. Got it. Final Fantasy speak.
And all that thing wanted to do was
Piercing
escape to get
weapon.
Whatever.
It wanted
whatever.
just get the fuck out of there, didn't it? You know, just wanted to get back to its family. Maybe it was a baby one. You know, that's why it was so easy to capture.
I don't know. I was wondering. I'm like, wouldn't this thing, even though it had an escape, wouldn't it still want to erase everybody? I mean, it did try to erase a lot of people, but
That's its purpose. You know, yeah, exactly. You know,
it would want to get out and erase everybody outside, not just get out to go home.
Yeah, it would go for the person that's closest to the paradox at first, so it would be homing in on Gwen. You would think, but it just goes on a rampage, you know, because the plot needs it to go on a rampage.
Yeah, I mean, it
Right.
definitely was very plot convenient with the way that stuff kind of worked out.
and like, you know, like regarding Essentia, like there should be like if there were two Essentias, then surely somehow obtaining the original Essentia and making sure she doesn't become that Essentia by keeping it with Starfleet so long that she'll never be that Essentia is what they should try to do, making sure that they do change history in that sense, and which is why I feel like that wasn't her. There was only one of them, you know. I don't know. And
No,
like,
I mean,
obviously-
we've seen both Essenzias at one time. Like they were in a couple episodes ago. Or episode 3, I think. They brought in current day Essentia, and then they did genetic tests to prove that they are the exact same person. Just one's older than the other.
by how many years, you know?
I mean, when does Is it 20 years? How far in the future is it 80 years?
I
It's
don't
like,
know. I mean, well, I don't know.
how
That
far in the
species-
future did the Prodigy go, and then they traveled back? Was it? I don't
I
remember.
don't remember either.
It was either like 20 years or like 80 or something. Those are the two numbers that stick out to me, but I'm might be wrong.
And they did the old like, they threw a dial through something into Wesley's hand, and they beamed up him
The emergency transport thing, and they decided to use
Why
it
two
on
to be-
Wes and a
Because we
sitting
only
in
have
Ilthran.
one.
Why only 2 to beam up? It was just, yeah, that was a bit weird. Oh! I can't forget Harry Potter's magical invisible cloak. They had that shit going on as well at the beginning of the beginning of episode 17.
They
They
totally
did.
can't see us.
What was that
Yes.
noise?
They totally
Yep.
got the reappearing, disappearing, like standing in the pop.
Jankum having to jump back into it. Good sight gags there for sure
Mhm.
in episode 17.
Oh,
But-
52 years on it. Okay. Oh yeah, exactly. That was funny. And like, I'm thinking to myself, like, they're walking along these streets, like they're gonna have to, in a way, make sure that nobody walks past them, and all of
Or in
that,
between them, yeah.
or in between them.
And I love
Gotta
how they
get-
blame Majel. Like, they're like, oh, I wasn't anticipating Majel. Like, how Majel's not that big. Like,
Yeah,
she's not taking up that much space under there.
Yeah, it
Rock-
was
and
And maybe
Rock, the
Jankum
person
should lay
tank-
off the ice cream or whatever he would eat in season 1. When they found the replicator for what did he eat a ton of? Like, I don't know, mashed potatoes. I don't know, something.
yeah. I've seen some burgers recently on some of their plates. So that
Yeah,
was
they like
interesting.
Earth food.
Yeah. So
I like Earth food.
It's all I've ever had.
Beerus and
Well,
Reese love Earth food too.
I just want to know, like, what's this planet's beef with Starfleet at this? Because I've kind of lost the plot a little bit, literally.
Well, they're xenophobic, it seems like. And
Isolation.
Outcast
isolation is
as well.
xenophobic, yeah. And
Because at the
So-
beginning, what it was, Essentia and Gwen, and they fought, and Gwen lost, and so now they're following.
I remember
Essentia.
I remember, but I'm just wondering now, like, does this end like with a convincing ending, or are we getting maybe like a semi cliffhanger ending, which will continue certain storylines and plots? Because regarding
Getting
some
another
things,
season?
I don't know, but
I have not heard anything about a season 3 yet. Now it hasn't been canceled, but that's the problem with doing things like this and putting cliffhangers is you can't do that because with stuff like this, because if it doesn't get renewed, you're gonna have a whole fan base at your neck. And honestly, with the way that streaming works nowadays, if it's not going to get renewed, like a cliffhanger will not save it. You know what I mean? I really don't think a cliffhanger would save a show like this.
I can see it being renewed, but not necessarily 20 episodes.
It might
Yeah,
go
that-
halves, 10 episodes.
Yeah, well, because I feel like this is probably the cheapest of the shows to make out of all the shit that they do.
Animation costs a lot.
I agree.
You're
But
paying for
I
all those voice actors.
feel like there's no like sets and stuff like that. It's more contained, if you know what I mean.
I know, but I can't remember what I was
locations.
watching about animation, but between computer animation like this and like Lower Decks animation, like it's actually the two more expensive shows between like a lot of the tracks, like between Picard. I mean, that's not including contracts, because I'm sure Picard season 3 cost a hefty amount of money for the contracts for all the original cast.
Yeah, for sure.
no doubt. But no, you really, when you do the renewing shows for a season at a time, they need to make them like miniseries, where there's a self-contained plot, and so the clip, and like you said, don't leave anybody mad.
Yeah.
'Cause-
Yeah, I don't mind a little bit of a side quest here and there, which is a bit of a filler, I guess, so to speak. But
I mean, I don't mind a hint at their next adventure, but a cliffhanger is like, no, you shouldn't really do a cliffhanger with this style. Like a hint is like, hey, we received a call from Sector 543 and they're having some issues. Maybe we should go check it out. All right, let's go. You know, like that's not a cliffhanger. That's like we're moving on to the next thing.
Yeah.
And then if it doesn't get renewed, we're like, well, who really cares what happened there anyway? So because we don't even know anything.
It'd be nice to see maybe by the end of this, like some progress that they all become ensigns. You know, they're no longer cadets anymore. They become ensigns.
They'll become lower deckers.
No, they got it. They've not gone to the. I think next season they'll be at the academy. I think I haven't. You know, I've not finished the seasons, but
I will let you know.
We will see.
You wouldn't expect the cliffhanger we get. I sure wasn't.
Oh, okay. Great. So there is a cliffhanger.
Is there?
Okay.
That's what Daniel Vance just said. He said you won't
giving us spoilers.
Well, all he said is you won't expect the cliffhanger we get. So my thought is like end of Enterprise season 3 is like everything is resolved, and then and at the end of Enterprise season 3, then like they're getting shot at by like old World War II, planes at the end, and probably some kind of shenanigans.
My mind working overdrive with what Daniel Vance is saying. I bet they, because the time travel is playing a very prominent part in this show. They end up in the Kelvin universe and they see Kirk and all the the Kelvin Kirk.
They should get thrown. They should get thrown into the Discovery era and be on Starfleet Academy.
Oh my god! That would
They're about to go into the Academy, right?
Oh my god! Imagine seeing live versions of these guys, man. That'll be fascinating.
Live action doll. That'd be great.
Who can live action rok-tauk, man? Jesus Christ!
That'd be awesome.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you basically have the thing. You'd have the Fantastic Four going on with Murph and.
I want to see like Jenkin Pog with his arm going like, "Get over here," and like Scorpion with his fucking hand.
That comedian would do a great job at being a live action Jenkin Pog. He would put so much energy into it. I can't pronounce his name, but he's hilarious.
Yeah. Strangely was rumored to have a Kelvin Universe cast cross over this coming season. Yeah,
that'd be nice.
I hope it's Simon Pegg Scotty, because then I want the two Scotties to meet.
I just want to fucking see how they deal with the fucking Gorn, because they're showing us so much other additional shit. Like, you know what, the Gorn was a big deal at the end of season 2. Let's just deal with that first before you show us anything.
Oh yeah, else. We're definitely. I think because Strange New Worlds is going to be. It's just like the whole Una, getting court-martialed thing. Like. It's gonna be resolved within the first 1 or 2 episodes. I mean, obviously, I think the Gorn thing is gonna be resolved in the first episode. Like this is basically, this is a 2-parter. Part one is going to be the end of season 2. Part 2 is going to be the beginning of season 3. And then we're gonna go back into our episodic format like we were before.
Yeah.
More than likely, yes. So back to I almost said back to Discovery. Back to Prodigy.
Let's go back to Discovery.
Let's not and say we didn't. So there was one more thing in Touch of Grey that I wanted to touch on, and that was when the Doc manipulated his voice and pretended to be one of the Dreadnoks.
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, very good.
That was the... Wait.
He did that in Voyager before. Didn't he mimic Seven's voice or something like that?
That was the Weekend at Bernie's moment?
No, this was it was the Return of the Jedi moment.
Yeah. Fly casual.
Fly, exactly. How do you fly casual? No,
that's right. The
sneaking past in the replicated ship and getting down to Solemn. I thought that was pretty cool. And a humdinger. It was hilarious. It's like I'm a doctor, not a covert operative.
I love that will just never die. I'm a doctor, not a blank.
Yeah. Have they all done it at some point? All the doctors at some point? I think
that's a good question.
You know what? That should at some point every doctor in every show should have said that line at least once.
I'm sure Colburn did in Discovery.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't obviously the Doctor has, but I don't know about anybody else. But yeah, it would be good if they all did at some point, just to like as a tradition, so to speak. But yeah,
Yeah, be fitting. Another little cool moment I thought they had was when Wes turned the tricorder into a remote to fly in the ship so they could get out of there. Even though they boarded it pretty damn fast.
yeah. We saw them board it. It was that fast.
No, it didn't. Yeah, it didn't show because it would have ruined the suspension of disbelief and that they could actually get away with them bearing down on them.
All these lasers are flying around. I thought I was watching an old school episode of G.I. Joe. You know what I mean? Where they're running around with fucking lasers shots everywhere, but nobody's getting hit by them. And then boom, they're on.
It wasn't called G.I. Joe over in your neck of the woods. What was it called?
It was Action Force.
Action Force. I like that.
Force.
Yeah.
Action Force,
Really?
American Heroes.
No, it was International Heroes.
Oh, International Heroes.
International Heroes. All right. Perfect.
Yeah. But it's funny because even though it was called Action Force, like we still saw the words G.I. Joe on like the vehicles and stuff like that, you know. So and like,
American flags like everywhere.
Yeah, and not just that, but like when they would have to, they wouldn't say, they wouldn't say "Go Joe," they'll go "Full Force" like that, and sometimes when the characters have to say "Force" or "Action Force" instead of G.I. Joe, like the accent would change a little bit because they would have a dub, And Sergeant Slaughter wasn't called Sergeant Slaughter because the word "slaughter" is kind of a, it's a bit of a unusual word, for a kid show. So he was called Sergeant Slammer.
I want to watch this international dub of G.I. Joe.
Oh my god, it's
on
on YouTube. But Zam's showed us it, or at least shown us parts of it before.
I showed you the intro, like the G.I. Joe, the movie. Well, we got Action Force, the movie, and it's the same thing. But I think actually the Action Force intro is better than the G.I. Joe intro.
Well, I don't know. I almost cried when I first saw the the G.I. Joe intro recently. I was like, and not because of like America. It was just like, it's such a good like hype intro, like it's just freaking hype. And it has nothing to do with like America because I don't even like America.
I'm talking of the movie, the movie version where they're fighting outside the
Statue of Liberty. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
But I thought the music for Action Force was a lot more like rocky and than the G.I. Joe. But I heard like Cobra. I was like, what the
fuck? Right,
yeah.
We are really tangenting.
Yeah, I apologize. Yeah,
that's okay. We're all doing it. We're all guilty on this one.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So we ended our episode that we were covering this week with the uprising in full force, in full swing, an actual civil war happening on Solemn. Things are coming to pass either way. And that leads us into the final two episodes, which are called Ouroboros Part 1 and 2. Do we have any predictions for what might happen, given the title and what we know so far?
Ouroboros, like the pirate thing, right? And
that's the Ouroboros is the serpent that devours itself.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
They like that last episode of Loki season, or the character in Loki season 2.
I always affiliate it with pirates because of our friend.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
One of my things is that, remember that episode of Voyager where that guy's got that time traveling device, and Voyager's fucked up, everything's fucked up, and then eventually Voyager decides to destroy itself by destroying the time traveling device, and it resets time. And
are you talking about the Year of Hell?
The guy, the guy Clarence Bodiger is in it. He's got the fucking hair of his wife in that little container.
Yeah. Okay. So Year of Hell.
Kurtwood Smith.
Yeah. Clarence Bodiger from RoboCop, one of the greatest villains of all time. Yeah, something like that might happen where we get like a giant reset, and
I hope we don't get a reset. I don't want. That was the biggest crime with Year of Hell, was that it was one big reset at the end. That was one of the worst parts of Year of Hell.
And somebody goes up, and then you see rok-tauk on the computer, and And I think, and like Gwyn goes to rok-tauk. Hey, it's lunchtime now, and rok-tauk's going, "There's one more calculation," and something like that. I don't know.
My real hopes for the end of this season is just we get resolution with Gwyn and the time phasing, because they really haven't mentioned that in recent episodes. Like, I mean, a little bit, 2 episodes ago, but
the little doodad that the
Yeah.
doctor made is just doing God's work at this point, you know?
yeah, like we need resolution there. We don't, we obviously need that. The Protostar just needs to go back in time. Things need to
Mhm.
kind of settle down with that whole storyline. If there is a cliffhanger, I'm sure they'll be thrown somewhere in a different time or somewhere in the galaxy. Maybe they'll go to the Gamma Quadrant and encounter the Dominion. Who knows? Maybe they'll go into the 32nd century and join Starfleet Academy. Who knows?
That's my hope.
Yeah, I don't want a cliffhanger per se, but I mean, I just want resolution to the main story and
This would be
Dal
good.
not to backpedal.
Admiral Kim, imagine that.
Yes.
Yeah, no, the series ends and then Admiral Kim's going to be like,
President Kim.
yeah, President or Admiral Kim's going to walk on and be like, "I'm joining you for next season," and then the next day, Star Trek Prodigy season 3 is not happening. It's been canceled.
As much as I'm a big fan of Voyager, no more Voyager characters, please. Like, throw in somebody else.
Well, I mean, it
need
is
some
very
DS9
Voyager centric,
people.
though. That's kind of like Picard or the Picard series saying, "Well, no more TNG references." This is quintessentially the Voyager spinoff, So
Yeah.
I would say that there needs to at least be some Voyager. But yeah, I mean, we don't need we don't need
We need
tons
Neelix to come back.
we don't need everybody to come back.
We had 3 TNG characters in Jellicoe and the 2 Crushes.
Mhm.
So
I would love for there to be a DS9, like a DS9 reference. But
Yeah,
Lower
me
Decks already
too.
kind of got that. But who's to say they can't go there too?
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
Yeah.
Lower Decks did a great job.
Actually,
with
what about
that
the Cerritos? What about the
one-off.
Cerritos? I mean, they were
They
mentioned.
mentioned it, but
Yeah,
could
the
get
Cerritos
CGI
would be good.
Boimler.
That'd be good. I wouldn't mind a bit of Cerritos action.
I wouldn't mind. This is the right era. They are both in the same era. I'm trying to remember. I think
The Doctor mentioned them.
is the Doctor did, but I think is it. I'm trying to remember Lower Decks. Lower Decks is behind this. I think a couple
so.
years. I will find out.
You find out. I've run out of notes. Do we have anything else we want to discuss about the episodes before we move on to marks and final comments?
It'll be interesting to see if we figure out, or we come across like Gwen's father is evil in the first season, yeah, but he's obviously a good guy in this season. Will we come across what makes him turn heel? Is that going to happen at some point?
The Civil War is what made him turn heel,
and it's also happening currently right now on Solom.
It's currently happening now, but
I think this is going to be a self-fulfilled prophecy. I think his dad is something's going to happen in the next 2 episodes, and I think he's going to turn bad. And I think we're still going to the Protostar's still going to go through the time portal. It's still going to go back in time where everything's going to be restored, and so is the Diviner. I think all that is also going to be a self-fulfilled prophecy.
Yeah,
maybe Gwen dies.
Oh man, I don't know. I really like Gwen this season. I liked her last season too, but this one I'm really liking her.
I'm just wondering, what could make him want to change that much? And same with Essentia as well. If there are two versions of her, what leads her down that path?
I mean, Gwen has been getting pretty close with her father and the current Essentia. So I mean, I'm not saying it's outside the realm. You are unfortunately got onto something there. You know what I mean?
I mean, I want to see that happen in the next 2 episodes if it does happen, or if they leave it for season 3 if we do get a season 3. But I did feel like they have to start tying up these loose ends.
Yeah, the finale has a lot of work to do for sure. A lot of heavy lifting.
Yeah, in 40 minutes.
Let's hope it doesn't feel rushed.
Yeah.
Hmm.
but that's always a possibility.
I'm still trying to figure out what year Lower Decks season 4 takes place. It keeps on giving me 2023, and I'm like, I know when it released. Okay, so 2380, and this one took place in 20. What did I say? 2380 for Prodigy.
I think
Can't
that's what you
remember.
said.
Remember.
So we're
Rewind the
really
tape,
close. We
please.
could have a. We could really have a crossover within
Well,
within reason.
I mean, like I said, the Doctor does know about the Cerritos shenanigans, so it's not out of the realms of possibility that that they're a lot more closer than people realize.
I just thought Prodigy was a bit further in the future, or Prodigy was a bit further in the future than Lower Decks. But I mean, it seems like they're closer than what I thought.
Well, if the Doctor knows about them having shenanigans, then they're probably the same, if anything. Yeah, and we have got 4 or 5 years now of Lower Decks, so in a way, they've
And only
probably been doing.
2.
They've been probably doing all this craziness.
Well,
for the
no,
last
that's what I
5
looked
years.
up. What year season 4 of Lower Decks takes place? So this past season of Lower Decks takes place in 2380.
And if Prodigy is 2381, then they would have known about the Cerritos' hijinks and all of that, regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I thought there was a bit more of a gap between the two, but there apparently is not.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about, Vance.
Yeah, Prodigy
Yeah.
season 2 takes place in 2384.
The
So there's
Doctor
about a
mentions
4 or 5 year difference there.
Give
The
us
Cerritos shenanigans.
give us a
But still,
give
the
us-
Cerritos is probably still pretty
I would
synonymous.
I don't want to see Boimler or Mariner. I want to see someone like Shax.
I want to see Rutherford. I want to see Rutherford.
Yeah,
I
give
think-
Rutherford and Tendi a crossover.
Yeah, give them a crossover.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Yeah,
maybe
since
Shax
we-
and
Ransom.
Shax and Billups. There we go.
Oh no.
The Mustachio Bros. Yeah, I mean.
Mustache.
Mustache. Okay, do we want to mark it, boys?
Oh yeah, marking. Hold on, go ahead. I got to bring up the poll.
Oh,
Okay.
just one
Let's
more
start
thing
with
though.
Sam.
Just
Oh,
one more
got
thing
something?
regarding just Cerritos and Prodigy. Like, even though they're both animated, one is definitely not a kid's show. And that's Lower Decks. That is definitely probably
It
the most
would be
R-rated.
cool to see the Lower Decks people in Prodigy style and vice versa.
I still think they could pull it off. Like, yes, Prodigy's not specifically a kid's show, but I think that like Prodigy and Lower Decks could meet in the middle. And Prodigy's grown up a lot this season. I've said it. I've said it since the first couple episodes.
I agree, but you're more than likely to make your kids watch Prodigy than Lower Decks because of some of the themes in Lower Decks, some of the there's quite a lot of sexual references in Lower Decks, So anyway, but I don't think it's that bad. But there's swearing as well and all of that. But anyway, marking times. I'll give both of those, I watched those episodes yesterday. A bit of a blur to me, but I'll give them both an 8. I felt satisfied, and I look forward to concluding this season.
Excellent. Do you want to go next, Donkey?
Oh, I'm yeah. I watched them yesterday too, so I'm debating between 8 or 9. We'll go 8.
Go 8.
For both.
They were really good. Just I don't know.
All right, Cheeto?
Definitely an 8. I mean, this is a really good build to a climactic finish, but as we were all speculating, we don't want it to be rushed. We're hoping that we can get good resolution to all of these facets that are moving. And I honestly feel like they can, like what kind of where everything's at. I feel like everything can be resolved because at the end of the episode, they were heading back to the Prodigy Voyager, armada. You know, I don't know what you want to call. I don't know what you call two ships in a convoy. You know, the Voyager Prodigy convoy. You know, like so.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we are in a good place to
Voyager and a baby child.
Yeah, there we go. Voyage oddity. Anyway, but like I feel like we're in a good place to get resolution on most of the facets in the season, which is good.
Yeah, I'll be
Agreed.
interested to see how Dr. Cruz at time gap, because Robert Picardo he's not a young man, and
Ooh. So, and also think about it. Robert Picardo is in the Starfleet Academy show. He also knows Dal and them from Prodigy. There's a crossover there if they go in the future.
Oh.
Okay. Anyway, sorry.
It'll be interesting to see how they do that. Will they use de-aging technology on it? Because that's just
I don't.
a lot.
No, they can just do what Q did. Be like, oh, let me just age myself up for.
Yeah. I've been alive for
Yeah.
900 years. I think I've earned a little gray
Mhm.
and some wrinkles.
I always found the fact that Data aged up as well. Like, motherfucker's got wrinkles and shit, and his skin's sagging and all.
They just should have recasted him with the Fred actor. Whoever played Fred, he didn't look that bad.
Fred deserved more character development.
He did not
deserved to
deserve
be
any.
part of the crew.
Fred served his purpose. Get out of
He
here.
deserved to
I mean,
be part of the crew.
They tried to
I
rectify
want a
it
Fred spin-off.
by making an old Data, but in a way, I was never happy that Data came back because it ruined his death in Nemesis. They should have just made
There's
it
another
lore.
highly logical podcast idea. Comebacks
They
that
should-
shouldn't have happened.
They should have made it lore, and maybe lore becomes good. You know, that's maybe what they
Kind of
could have done.
was, wasn't it?
That would have ruined lore.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was
Um,
okay with it because Data dies and then he's back and, you know,
So Data's Android Jesus.
yes.
Yeah.
We love Android
I'm okay
Jesus.
with that.
As long as it's not iPhone Jesus. I can't stand iPhone Jesus.
Or have you recently seen Marty McFly Jesus? There's an AI skit of Marty McFly going back to biblical times to stop Jesus Christ from being crucified,
Oh my
and
God.
Jesus Christ ends up taking his advice, jumps in the DeLorean and goes back to the future. And Marty McFly ends up getting crucified, so people start believing Marty McFly is the new Jesus, is a Jesus Christ now, because
This is the Back to the Future 4 that we've needed.
Well, did you guys ever? I know this is tangent. I know we're trying to wrap up here, but have you guys seen the greatest action story ever told, where it was Terminator going back to save Jesus?
I saw that. It's
so old. It's an SNL skit, or is it a Mad skit? I can't remember.
I don't know. I think it might be more Mad than this.
Sounds more like Mad TV.
Hasta la vista, Judas.
Yeah.
So good. Anyway, okay, Mage. Unless anyone else, take us home, brother.
Okay, I was also going to give the episodes an 8. I walked into this review wanting to give them a 9, but between like my little nitpicks with a touch of gray and some of the like plot weakness that Zam pointed out with it, with the flimsiness of the impenetrable arena to hold the loom and stuff like that.
And the Essentia not being sure whether she was real or whether she's the. We still don't even know. I haven't been convinced yet.
Yeah, so there's definitely some issues there, but solid TV. I'm gonna give it an 8. I want to thank everybody for joining us this evening. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, you should definitely subscribe to NerdTube. We do more than just Star Trek here. We talk about Star Wars, comic book stuff, just all over the place. Zam's recently done a Johnny English trilogy review.
Done that, and a reaction to one of his scenes. And tomorrow, myself and Cheeto and whoever wants to join us will be reviewing the first 3 episodes of Lord of the Rings Season 2. And hopefully myself and Mage will get a Terminator Zero Season 1 review done next Sunday.
Lots of stuff to be looking out for, so definitely reasons to hit the bell icon so you never miss a video or a live stream of NerdTube. I want to thank my co-hosts Cheeto, Zam, Lord Donkey. It's not a NerdTube review without you guys. But most importantly, until next time, Take care. You've been watching NerdTube, in case you forgot. Remember it.
Yep. Live long and roast.